with the Dog Dialectic. I forgot the name of the podcast for a second. And I'm here with my co-host, Kelly Ortega. And today we have a really fun episode to talk about some recent events that we've been kind of experiencing. And so we're going to be talking about dog trainers and social media. So before I get into that, a couple of updates. We do have some openings for our upcoming board and train weeks. We did have a client cancel, and so we do have an opening available. So if anyone's in the Sanford, North Carolina area, we do have training available. We're super excited. We just got some new clients who are going to be taking advantage of our agility and our trick programs. We have another client who signed up for our canine fitness program. We love doing obedience, but if you want to do something more special, we are super excited to do that as well. Kelly, what other updates do I have?
Well, we'll be at a lot of dock diving events.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. So, not this weekend, but next weekend, we're going to be at the Teamwork season finale dock diving event. We are going to be a vendor for Saturday and Sunday. We will be out there Friday, but we're not going to be vending on Friday. We'll be vending Saturday and Sunday only. So if you're looking to come out and see us, we'll be there. But if you're looking to buy any of our products, definitely come out on Saturday or Sunday. Speaking of products that we're producing, we did just start selling canned curtains. So if you are in the working dog world, the protection dog training world, and you know what canned curtains are, and you want some custom canned curtains with your clubs, colors, designs, customization, we can make them as loud, as quiet, as soft as you want. Let us know if you have any new fancy ideas. We're super happy to accommodate. We can do any designs you want, any colors you want. We do puppy curtains, we do bottle curtains, we do everything in between. If you're interested in getting any of the other equipment that is used, like flyers or, trash can lids, we can try to accommodate that too. Primarily, we're looking at the can curtains, but if it's something simple, we could add that to your order as well.
And horse people, because I know if there's dog people, there's horse people not too far. Can curtains and stuff like that are great desensitizing items for starting young horses and bomb-proofing your older horses as well.
Yep.
You don't have to do protection sports.
Hey, man, I use those can curtains and all those distractions in my obedience all the time. So,
yeah. I mean, you could also teach your horse to bite. Bite work with a horse.
Please don't do bite work with your horse. This is not going to go well. All right. As always, don't forget we are on all the social media platforms, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Our TikTok is starting to blow up, which is fantastic. What else are we on?
Did you say Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, is that about it?
That's it.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
We already talked about Twitter in a previous episode.
Yeah, we don't do Twitter anymore, apparently. Okay, I guess that's not for dog trainers anymore.
Now it's called X.
That's gross.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you obviously know that we're on Spotify, unless you're listening to it on YouTube. We do try to upload it to both all of the podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. If we forget, shoot me a message. I'll fix it.
Please remind us.
Yeah, we're not super smart, but we try. We're good with dogs, not great with the computers. All right, so today's topic is dog trainers and social media. So we have a few different approaches to this topic that we want to talk about. One is your big name, big flashy, fantastical, social media dog trainers. And then also we want to talk about on the other side of it is our keyboard dog trainers who blow up comment sections with their seemingly endless knowledge of dog training and how it's supposed to be done, but no actual evidence of them ever touching a dog. So
lots of fun there.
We're going to be talking about it. So Kelly, why did we decide this topic for today?
Well, I recently posted a video of Ashley's dog, Medic, her Dutch Shepherd, who saw her go outside with a ball, and I thought it was a really funny moment because we've got them in these big kennel runs that I can comfortably stand and walk around in, it's a big area. And Medic, whose nickname is Tinky, because I'm probably going to call him Tinky by default at some point, was just, trampolining on the ground as Dutch Shepherds and working dogs can do when they get excited and, their toy goes out the door with another dog. And so I posted it online because I was like, one, at the time, I still don't really have that big of a social media presence.
So for context, what had happened was Tinky, my Dutch Shepherd, who's about 44, 47 pounds roughly. In the past, he's gotten into a fight with my old German Shepherd. I have a 10-year-old German Shepherd who's around like 80, 85 pounds. And Medic, Tinky, like destroyed my German Shepherd. My Shepherd ended up needing stitches. So they just don't go out together anymore, which is fine. But we had a lot of people commenting like, why are they kenneled? Why aren't you taking the dog out? But what had happened was I was taking my 2 German Shepherds, my 2 Chihuahuas, and my Pit Bull outside to go play. Usually what I do at that point after I play with them is I rotate the German Shepherd that doesn't get along with Tinky, and Tinky then gets to go out with the other German Shepherd and the rest of the dogs. But so I'd gone out with the German Shepherds first, and Tinky was in his kennel, and Tinky was there just rhythmically bouncing as if the place bed in his kennel was a trampoline. And barking, and like it was just this beautiful moment. I never get to see it because I'm always the one outside playing when Medic is doing this, and Kelly got to be inside, and she got a little video of it.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll post this and like just make a little caption about like show this to the next person that says they want a working breed, because as dog trainers we get a lot of people that don't need Malinois, they don't need German Shepherds, and that's how they end up with us. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, luckily, it does. Like we can figure out a way to make it work, but. It was more just like a silly, goofy video, and then I ended up having a lot of people that took that 10-second clip as Medic's life.
Oh yeah, and the cool thing was the way she had posted the video. I really liked it because she worded it very well. There was we put a little caption on it that said, before getting a working breed, see this, right? Now, unfortunately, the implication is that hey, this is what working breeds do 24/7. But in reality, the intention of the video is to show that this is a possibility of a behavior that your dog might show.
Yeah.
Right?
Your dog's going to come with this intensity pre-installed.
Yeah.
To a point. I mean, Medics, we've kind of built and driven and stuff like that.
So with Medic, we've definitely spent a long time building drive in him. I think one of my favorite conversations I ever had was when I was getting my second Dutch Shepherd, Daria, and I was at a dock diving event, and if you ever get to see a video of Medic at dock diving, it is hilarious because he is just on like 11 at dock diving. Like he is just absolutely insane. And so I was there waiting for our turn to go dock diving, which is usually when Medic is like freaking out, like screaming bloody murder.
Oh, it's bad.
And a girlfriend of mine was there waiting for me in the standby line, and he's freaking out, and I was talking about how I'm getting another puppy, I'm getting another dog and another Dutch Shepherd. And she's like, oh, why are you getting another one? What's wrong with this one? I'm like, well, I just want one who's a little higher drive. As he's screaming bloody murder. And she looks at me like I'm absolutely insane.
He makes sounds that dogs shouldn't make. Like he chokes on his own vocal cords.
Yeah, he's so I'm just like, dude.
That one, I will not be posting videos of him on TikTok going dock diving.
Oh, yes, we are.
There's no explaining that away. It's just, I don't know what's wrong with it. I can't fix it.
I love it. It's going to be so good. We're definitely going to post that because I've been dying to get a video of him doing it. I try to videotape it, but when I'm trying to also hold him and videotape, it's very hard.
Maybe we could do one that's like this, and he's calm and chill and showing that he has a brain cell. Can also do this and just...
Yeah,
dock diving.
I love it.
That way you don't have to make multiple videos.
Mm-hmm. So essentially what had happened is that in the comment section, we've gotten a lot of like really positive comments like, oh my God, that's so cute, that's adorable, that's so funny, right? Because that's primarily what it was for. We want to make it enjoyable and entertaining, at least to get people's attention. But then we do like to have a educational side to it.
Yeah.
What was the fallout of, what was the downside of that post? What had happened?
Well, I think the word off switch has been typed more times in 24 hours than in the history of the internet. The fallout was a lot of, hate comments to me. A lot of people think he's my dog, which I guess at this point he may as well be my dog since I keep saying we when I'm talking about his training.
We're co-parenting.
We're co-parenting now. But yeah, a lot of hate comments about needing to kennel train your dog. A lot of hate kennel comments, which, you can't win on that front. A lot of hate. And then I did recently get called out for training out of a garage, which was interesting.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that
nice.
more.
Yeah,
for sure. So it was funny because so many people all of a sudden became experts on working dogs, and I love your approach to it, Kelly, because you then would go into like those people's accounts who are saying, oh, working dogs should A, B, C, and D, to see, oh, what kind of working dogs do they have, to find out that they don't have any working dogs.
Yeah.
Or they have, off breeds, or, non-working breeds, or they have like, low drive, lazy, versions of these working dogs. Because I remember I had a girl who worked for me before. She mostly did like hunting dog training. She did wired hair retrievers, but she had a show line Malinois, and like she was interested to find out the dog could do bite work. And the dog was probably like a year and a half already.
Yeah.
So we brought out like a little flirt pole to try and like get the dog enticed. Dude, we could not get this dog to like be interested in a flirt pole.
Yeah.
And it was a Malinois. So there are different gradients of how high drive these dogs are. And so people might have a low drive Malinois and think, oh, look at how well I trained this dog to be calm, right? Yeah. That's my training. No, that's genetics, girl.
Yes.
I say girl because most of these keyboard warriors are females.
Yeah.
Sorry, but we're terrible.
But yeah, I also worded a lot of comments to be like educating them, because I'm like, I'm going to give you like the facts and all of it, because otherwise you're going to come back to me and ask me another stupid question.
Using your knowledge from your books you've been reading?
Yes, so many books. Gosh.
I like to give her reading lists.
I walked into her house because I'm staying with her for a little bit, and she just handed me a stack of books. I was like, great.
I'm just going to take the TV out of your room and be like, read.
I don't even use it though. I walk dogs, go to sleep, wake up, train dogs.
I know. We work a lot.
Yeah.
We never stop. I love it. I mean, that's just the way I live. Now you get to live that way too, because you live here. So basically what was happening was like, not everyone in the comments, but there were individual comments. So like of the hundreds of comments that were in there, maybe a couple dozen were like, oh, this is bad training. Or someone even said this is bad breeding.
Yeah.
Which I think that is hilarious, because in the post itself, she mentioned that Medic is a show line / sport line dog, right? That's what he was bred for. It was primarily like conformation and the ability to do sport. He was not bred to be like a working dog. He was not bred to be a high drive dog. And the best part is the fact that like I have spent so much time and energy building the drive in him, because he was not intended to have a very high level of drive. And that high level of drive was really what I wanted. And thankfully there were some people in the comments who were like, maybe this is a behavior that the owner likes. Maybe this is a behavior that the owner wants. And we're like, yes.
Or that's something that just doesn't bother us.
Right? So the whole point of this conversation is to kind of talk about what ends up happening when trainers are posting things on social media and what kind of evolves out of that. So from that video, Kelly, what has happened to your account? Like how many reactions did you get? How much interaction have you got with it?
I got a lot of interaction with it. In fact, right now I'll check and see how many views the original post has. It has 79,000 views right now.
79? Oh my god, that's amazing.
I know. I'm like, I've never seen that number before. All my other videos are like 500. It got me well over 150 followers. I have like 13,000 likes now, which I never knew was like a thing you could see.
So what is it about this video that you think produced so much of a response?
So I think there was so many uneducated people that the way that, I'm not really 100% sure how TikTok works, but like the algorithm will like spread it to the people that they follow or watch their videos. Yeah. So one uneducated person sees it and comments, and all their friends are going to see it and comment.
I wouldn't say that we don't know if they're educated or uneducated, right?
Yeah. People
with dissenting opinions,
yeah.
Right? Just because someone has a different opinion doesn't mean that they're not educated.
Yeah.
Granted, what we're getting at is the fact that there's conflict, yeah. Right? There's conflict in the comment section. There's conflict over whether this is a good, funny, haha, positive video, whether this is a video that should be concerning, or whether this is a video of us abusing a dog because he's in a kennel.
Yeah.
Right?
Very, very much abusive.
So that conflict creates all this interaction, this back and forth, right? Because it wasn't just you responding to people putting those hate comments, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of really like good replies to some of those comments made by other people.
And there was a lot of people who were responding to the hate comments for you too, right? So when you have conflict in social media, you can like see how the creator can reap the benefits, right? We get a lot of views, we get the likes, we get the follows, we get the subscribes, which is awesome. The downside is that you have people propagating that you are abusing dogs, right? And that's what's getting you views, is when someone thinks that you're doing something really bad, now you're getting your views.
Yeah.
So this leads us into talking about some of those really big name, sensational dog trainers you see. This kind of goes back to, like, I want to say the original, which was the Cesar Millan, right? And then some of the more recent ones. But if you look up, like, the most viewed Cesar Millan video, which one is it? Do you know?
I've like never actually watched a Cesar Millan video. I've kind of like known from the start just not to mess with it.
Well, aren't you just lucky?
I know.
No, like the most
interested.
The most viewed video from Cesar Millan is the one where he absolutely gets fucking ripped into by a Labrador with resource guarding because he's trying to shove his hand into the dog's food.
Intelligent.
Right?
They don't have an Assess a Hand Halloween decoration.
You know that that's stupid.
Yeah.
I know that that's stupid. He is like this big name, like at that time he was like the dog training guy to go to on, you know, entertainment, let's say, because we didn't really have all the fancy social media back then, back in my day, because I'm so old. By the way, someone thought Kelly was my daughter the other day, and I think that is absolutely hilarious.
She still won't take me to the family fun fair, though.
Nope.
There's one by our house. She will not.
You haven't done your homework.
You gave me 6 books to read. I gotta work too. The dogs need to be trained.
But the thing was, like, you know, he was like the go-to guy for like how to train dogs. And you and I both know that if you're trying to help a dog who has resource guarding, that is not the way to do it.
No,
that is absolutely the worst thing that you could possibly do. And like if you watch like the full episode, he kind of does highlight like the steps he went through to like fix it.
Yeah.
I highly doubt he did actually ever fix that issue. I think like that dog might have been rehomed or something. But like, it doesn't matter if that was terrible training because he got so many reactions, reviews. You know, he probably got tons of advertising deals because so many people were clicking on that video to see it.
Yeah.
What happens every time you click on a YouTube video?
It shows it's someone else.
Well, no, you got to watch an ad first, right?
Oh, that too, yeah.
Right? And so he's probably getting tons and tons of money for ads for that specific video.
Yeah.
That's how all creators or content makers, whatever they're called, influencers, make their money. They don't make it off the content itself. They make it off of advertising they get from having an audience. And especially in these days where like everything on the internet is technically free to us, just so you know, if something is free, you're the product.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So if you're getting to watch free stuff on YouTube, it's because someone's getting paid to show you ads. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Facebook, same thing with Instagram, so on and so forth.
Or they're getting your data.
Exactly. So the stuff on social media that's going to get the most views is going to be the stuff that is sensational, that is not like sensational in a good way. I've been trying, like, honestly, before we started the podcast, I've been going through the thesaurus trying to find the word to describe this. But it's the stuff that's essentially like clickbait, where it's, you know, enthralling, engaging. We're like, oh my god, like
crazy German Shepherd attacks dog trainer, OMG, with the little like shocky like hands on the face.
Right? Think about how many people have watched The Dog Daddy.
I was thinking about
American Standard?
No, Tom Davis.
Oh yeah.
Which I feel like because I used to listen back when I was like way baby dog trainer. I'd listen to his podcast because he would kind of get people to call in and explain their dog situations, and he'd be like, well, hey, like this is what I would do. So it was like I could kind of quiz myself in my head.
Yeah.
And like I feel like to a point he does kind of know what he's doing. I just feel like his YouTube has corrupted him to where he will only, and he said it himself, to where he'll only train dogs if there's a camera.
Yeah.
Because he's just like so busy. So like it kind of is that he's a really good example of like how the internet can change a dog trainer.
Yeah. And like what you just said too, like he's like, oh, I'll only train a dog if there's a video because he's so busy, right?
Yeah.
And there gets to be a certain point where if you are running like a dog training business and you're running a successful dog training business, you know, if I am booked out for 4 or 5 months at a time, you know, I have the potential to maybe expand my business to have more trainers.
Yeah.
And that way I could, you know, have more dogs at once, and that way I wouldn't have to be booking out that far. I could produce more money.
Yeah.
You know, faster, more efficiently. But the thing is, you'll see that as dog trainer company grows, right? And as you have more trainers and you have more clients, it gets a little bit like you lose control of how the training is being conducted too.
Yeah.
We won't really get into that. But it's hard because it's just not a good way to run a business.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, because he actually did talk about this, I think on the podcast that I was listening to, he acts very different than his YouTube channel. It's more of like his personal, like, let's sit down and talk about dogs.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, I kind of did at some point have to choose to be an influencer, not a dog trainer. And also, if you think about it, like, from his perspective, he probably makes a lot more money doing seminars and things that are like one-time pay and go see it than he does training a dog, because you can't really charge publicity fee for training a dog, you know what I mean, like you could for a seminar or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when we're talking about like what is it that you're seeing on social media, what's popping up on your feed, it's going to be the stuff that has the most views, that has the most likes, that has the most reacts, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going to be at the top of the feed, not the thing that has like one view of you slowly desensitizing a dog to your presence by throwing hot dogs at it through the kennel. Like, That's boring. But the problem is that good dog training is boring.
Yeah. We just worked Mona, our one of our dogs, in for training. We're on your Chihuahua, and like nothing happened. Yeah, that was awesome. That was my best thing ever. I was like, nothing happened. Yay.
Exactly. I've been, you know, as I've gotten more into more of the like competitive, you know, working dog side of things, you know, a lot of the working dog trainers have been in the game for 10, 15, 20 years. And you'll find that they tend to think that they're kind of done learning. Yeah. Which is, you know, troublesome. But when they think that their training methodology is like the end all be all and they're not looking to get any advice from anybody, it's interesting because you start to see them do things and you're like, you should not be doing that. Yeah. And I see people make mistake, like specifically in like training situations, like, hey, I'm going to work on this one specific skill or scenario, and then make mistake after mistake after mistake. The dog is making mistake after mistake after mistake. And we try to have what we call the 90% rule. We don't increase the difficulty or move on to a more difficult skill unless my dog is getting the behavior right 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. Right? If my dog has made a mistake, that's a mistake. If he makes a mistake twice, it's a choice. Now it's my mistake, right? If we do it 3 times or more, now it's a habit. Yeah. Right? So on the topic of, you know, making mistakes in training, you know, we're not saying that mistakes will never happen. We're going to say that, you know, mistakes are going to happen. One, the dog's going to make mistakes, but even more importantly, like, trainers are going to make mistakes. Yeah. It's about how you, like, learn from it. But when we're talking about dog trainers and social media, right, you're not going to necessarily see those mistakes. Maybe occasionally, but not as often. Yeah, so, you know, you're not going to post the video of you completely, like, screwing up and doing the wrong thing.
with a dog. I remember when I was like first getting used to doing my like stays and stuff in motion, I was like, I kind of get tripped up because our form of communicating to the dog to stay is we step off with the right foot. Left foot means go with me. And I kept having to edit out of my video every time I mess up my footwork, because I don't want people to look at it and be like, sloppy trainer, terrible trainer, because, you know, that's not a good thing to show.
Mm-hmm.
But just like, you know, I can edit out my little mistakes that don't really hurt anyone, it just makes my video look cooler. You can edit out more dramatic things or choose to post the things that are going really well, even though you might not have the ability to do. I feel like I'm saying things a lot.
That sounds fine to me.
But I guess what I'm kind of trying to say is not a lot, but some of the trainers that I know on the internet that I do know in person, and there's like several different ones, they have a lot different of an online presence as they do have an in-person presence.
Yep.
A lot different quality of their work.
And I think we talked about this last time when we were talking about the dog trainer horror stories, is, you know, we try our best to, you know, base our perception of other trainers in comparison to what it is that we do and our, you know, what we think is the right thing to be doing. Because we're not going to be doing it if we don't think it's the right thing.
Yeah.
So when we're posting our videos, like I said, I try to do as raw of a video as I can.
Yeah.
Now, granted, for most social media platforms, we're looking at like a 15 to 30 second clip. I can't post an entire 5-minute training session.
Yeah.
But I can at least post a 30-second unedited clip. Whereas a lot of these, you know, maybe those content creators out there that, you know, call themselves dog trainers are curating these clips to show like the most dramatic parts of their training, or like this incredible transformation from this dog came in the morning trying to murder me and by the afternoon we're best friends. Like it's just to kind of grab your attention and say, look at what type of miracle worker I am.
Yeah.
And there's no miracles in dog training, right? No one's perfect, right? We're not going to be able to cure a dog in a day or even a week, you know, depending on how severe the situation is. But, you know, we want to be able to kind of show that, you know, we're all human. And when we're talking about making mistakes, I don't mean like, hey, I made a bad judgment call and punched a dog in the face.
No.
Right? That's not the type of mistake I'm trying to...
You mean like sloppy footwork.
Yeah. So when we're teaching the first, you know, basic obedience, teaching heel, sit, down, place, and come when called for the first time to our clients, especially if I'm teaching like private lessons, I am a huge stickler on doing it as perfect as you can, right? Yeah. Move your feet the right way, hold the leash the right way, click at the right time or mark at the right time, say this at this point, and I try to break it down step by step. The reason I do that is because as you go like further into training and as training becomes more advanced and more complicated, those fundamentals should be like ingrained in you. So we do try to really select our videos to show that like perfect picture.
Yeah.
We do it for, you know, a really important reason, right? We want our clients and our followers and people who are looking to us for training information to be able to see what right looks like.
Yeah.
Right? We're not trying to hide the fact that we make mistakes, right? Especially like for our clients, we do full like 15 to 20 minute videos for our clients that are just raw footage. And I'll be like, oh, you know, I accidentally stepped off with the wrong foot there. You know, hey, this is going to happen. Oh, look, the dog broke their place command. This is how I handle that. Like we do show that. But, you know, we're not trying to, like, necessarily advertise. And I think a lot of people, you know, who are in this industry who are trying to advertise in order to get business and keep, you know, get their paycheck eventually, right? Be able to pay their bills, isn't trying to show everyone, look at how bad of a dog trainer I am. Look at all these mistakes I make. So.
Yeah. Well, I think, too, going back to when I was saying, like, when I meet some of these internet trainers in person, I see their videos online. I'm like, okay, they've got, like, a certain quality of work. Like, I'm going to expect a certain level of knowledge base and, you know, abilities and things like that. It's like, don't meet your idols. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah. I have a good story for that one, too.
But yeah, it's, like, hard to look online and judge someone at the same time.
Yep.
For sure. Good and bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've definitely, we talked about that before. We're like
dog trainer horror stories.
Yeah.
People were perfectly fine, and next thing you know,
nope,
in the freezer.
Oh my god. And this kind of goes back. Like I always love revisiting previous content we've talked about. But we say don't meet your idols, right?
Yeah.
Don't put those online influencers on a pedestal. Because if you see like their videos and everything is perfect, everything they touch turns to gold, don't expect that in real life, right?
Yeah.
That's not really how life works. No matter how professional you are, no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much education you have.
Yeah.
I went to a seminar with a trainer who I did really have up on that high pedestal, had a high expectation for them, and we ended up having they had an assistant who worked with them who was helping work my dog, and the assistant was working my dog. I assumed that having that assistant work with this trainer enough that they were skilled, educated, knew what they were doing, so I trusted them with my dog. And the assistant ended up making a very bad mistake with my dog, who really set my training back like months.
Yeah.
And like I am still facing the repercussions of that mistake to this day. We're still trying to kind of fix it.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like the person who was the main like educator for that event pulled me aside afterwards and apologized to me because, hey, I'm sorry that happened. But then he was like, but it's going to make you a better trainer to have to work through this. I'm like,
no free lesson,
bitch,
no help, no pointer thing.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, my dog has Tinky, who we've been talking about before.
His nickname's Tinky for a reason.
I have been troubleshooting this dog his whole life because I'm trying to fit him into a sport or a skill set that he was not necessarily intended for. And I don't mind it. Like, I like the process, but I don't need someone else to make it harder, especially the fact that, like, I told them at that, I don't want to harp on this, but I really have a very emotional response to this story. But I would told them like before like that exact moment, I'm like, my dog's super soft. You can't go too hard on him. He's touch sensitive.
Yeah.
And then like the assistant just made like, it just ignored all that information and just treated him like he was like some hardened police dog. Like,
well, I mean, at this point we know it's a protection seminar.
Yeah.
Especially like as a decoy, your job is to hear what is going on with the dog. How can I like help with the dog?
Yeah.
Not just dog go bite. I do this with dog.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. Oh, it was so bad. I had a very emotional response, but like it continues to remind me that nobody in the dog training world is infallible.
Yeah.
We had another big name in the protection training world come and do a training seminar with us, and I thought it was going to be like, hey, bring my notebook, take notes. It's going to be, structured. They're going to teach us these things that we've never heard before. And there was a lot of really good information on there. But like at one point, he was trying to talk about how we do like creating a really good heel position. And he's like, yep, so once the dog does this, then you reward the dog, or you reward the dog at this point. And I'm like, cool. So should I be like using my continuation marker and then releasing him to the reward, or should I use my termination marker? And he's like, you're what? He literally didn't know what a continuation or a termination marker was. And I'm like, what? You're here teaching a seminar and you don't, like, it's one thing to maybe not be so concerned about the vernacular, but you have to be familiar with it.
Yeah.
You have to know, like, the common language to describe what you're doing.
Yeah.
There were so many moments during that little seminar where he was trying to describe what he was doing, but he didn't have the common language to tell us exactly what was happening. He was using very kind of general, like, well, yeah, we kind of, like, do blah, 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 and, like...
You sound like me explaining something.
I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially when you're like, it's very different when you're hosting and people are paying to listen to you talk.
Mm-hmm.
People don't pay to listen to me talk, so I can talk terribly.
Yeah.
I try not to, but I definitely say slang and cuss. And You know?
But I guess like the way that was a different type of weekend where it wasn't really necessarily supposed to be like a seminar. It was supposed to be just a training weekend where he would just come and work our dogs, I think.
But like to me, that's still like a teaching. You know, you're being a teacher, an educator.
Yes and
you're
no.
being a professional that people are seeking out.
So in protection training, like for decoys, people will like. If you become like a really good decoy and you're super sought after to have you work other people's dogs, people will pay you to just come and work dogs.
Oh, it was a decoy?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I thought you meant it was like a trainer.
It is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was a high level trainer, like he had trained his dogs to a high level, but he wasn't like a trainer like we're trainers. Okay. Like he trained dogs, he wasn't really big on like training people necessarily.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
But he was known for his work in the protection field.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it just goes back to that concept of like, don't have that super high expectation of people that, are coming to teach you necessarily.
Yeah.
Have an open mind, right? Don't expect that they're going to be idiots, obviously, especially if you're paying for it. But be prepared that nobody's infallible.
Mm-hmm. So going back to that cherry picking thing, kind of branched off there. You can also cherry pick bad information. I know this isn't even like I don't even have to provide an example. I don't think because most people listening to this podcast probably know someone. They're connected somewhere to someone who's been dragged through the internet for clips that are way out of context.
Well, I mean, if we look back at the first thing that we were talking about today, that video of Medic in his kennel losing his mind for 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
It's 10 seconds of his whole day, of his whole life. And people are like, oh my God, that dog is neurotic. That dog needs to be put on medication. That dog is abused. That dog shouldn't be behaving like that.
Yeah. Or we were popular on the internet for a stint before that as well for literally no reason. And we had a dog, because occasionally if we're late on dogs, which doesn't happen too often, but we'll take shelter dogs in for free to train them, help them get a home. And we had a dog in named PETA, which I want to know if he got adopted because I liked PETA.
PETA was cool.
He was cool. And we posted a picture of him showing his kennel manners. And obviously, the kennel's on the floor. The camera is, 5 foot whatever, in our hands. And he's looking up at the camera and there's people posting it around saying, whale eye, stressed. I'm like, I'm sorry if the dog moved his eyeballs. I'll make sure to tell him he can't do that anymore.
Yep.
But cherry picking stuff like that, or cherry picking 5 seconds of a dog maybe licking its mouth, saying that's a lip lick, saying that the dog's stressed. Maybe the dog has a crumb on its cheek. You don't really know unless you see the entire situation. Yep. And I feel like dog body language is probably my number one thought when it comes to the cherry picking of negative things. Because people that don't understand dog body language can look at a dog that's submissively, laying its ears back saying, hey, come pet me, and go, that dog has just gotten the shit beat out of it. It's so scared of you, its ears are back. Yeah. And the dog's just I just really want to be pet. Well,
Daria
the other, does that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Daria loves, when she gets super excited, her ears go down. She looks like a seal. It's hilarious.
She looks bald like Steve Harvey.
But, yeah, she does. It's so funny because we have a dog in right now who is a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and every time I see that dog, it takes me a second to remember it's a Ridgeback. So I'm like, why is her hackles up? I'm like, it's the Ridgeback.
It's so fun to pet the little ridge, though.
Oh my God, it's so weird. I love it. But yeah, and the thing is too, if you're bringing your dog to a trainer, it's because it's not necessarily adapting the way it should be. Yeah. Meaning there is some sort of conflict in the dog's life, either with you or with some other factors in the environment, meaning the dog is either misbehaving, the dog's not listening, or the dog is having some type of emotional response to stress, like dog reactivity, human aggression, fear, whatever, which means the dog is here because the dog is struggling with something, which means the dog is going to be going through stress, which means your dog is probably going to show some stress signals.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because we're teaching the dog how to work through those situations. And, if you see that in a trainer's video, don't immediately assume the dog's stress response is because the trainer or someone is mistreating them. We're teaching the dog that, hey, when someone tells you to do something, when mom tells you to sit at the door, right, it's something you need to do. Like, you might not want to do it, but you still have to. And that can be a little stressful.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's for the dog's own benefit to not go rushing out the door and run to traffic. And 2, we're teaching the dog that these stressful situations don't have to be stressful.
Yeah.
Bruno. We were just working with Bruno the other day. And Bruno is super fearful little dog. He doesn't like anybody but his mama, which is me. But, you know, we want him to get more used to being around Kelly because she lives in the house with us now. We don't always want him barking at her.
Because he alerts Dante. That's the only reason it bothers me, is Dante hears him barking and comes running to look for me.
We're not going to talk about Dante. There is no helping Dante. But Bruno doesn't really like anybody messing with him except for Mom. Mom is his only person. So, you know, what we're working on is desensitizing him to Kelly, you know, being nearby, touching him, petting him. And the first time she reached out to try to pet him, yeah, he pulls away. He's like, I don't want you touching me. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, I'm going to force him to be in a situation where he's going to be touched by Kelly. She's not beating him. No one's hurting him. His fear is irrational. And we're teaching him that through a very deliberate process. So as soon as she makes contact with his body, we mark and give him a reward. And we do that, and it took like maybe 5 to 10 repetitions before he started to be like, oh, this is pretty great. I get pet and I get a treat. And he's not cured, right? We didn't fix it in one session. We didn't fix it in several sessions yet. But it's getting better and better every single time. And, you know, it's going to look like that. And if someone saw a video of the first time we did that, they're going to be like, oh my God, like that dog obviously doesn't want to be there. He's stressed. He's anxious. He's fine.
Well,
nothing terrible is happening to him.
You can even flip that and post a video of the end of the session and been like, cured.
Cured. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right? Because he's just standing there getting pet and getting treats and happy as could be, tail wagging.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's not cured. The next time we start that session, it's going to look very similar to the first time we started the session.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better than the first time. And that's, you know, that's the reality of dog training.
Well, I find it so weird because, like, if you post a video of a kid crying because they don't want to get their flu shot, the internet's going to be like, oh, like that sucks. Good thing you're getting him a flu shot, you know, unless you run into the wrong circle. But like with dogs, there's a big like irrational thing. And I think it comes from like, you know, people love dogs so much, which is great. We love our dogs too. Mm-hmm. But I don't think like the average pet owner, the average dog mommy, understands to the point with dogs that they understand to the point with children.
Yep.
To where like sometimes you have to muzzle your dog to go to the vet.
Yeah.
That sucks. It sucks that has to happen, but it has to happen.
Yeah.
The vet doesn't want to get bit. Your dog needs a vaccine.
Tinky doesn't want you taking his temperature, but
Gracie doesn't either. And I don't blame either one.
I don't blame either one of them, but sometimes it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
It's so interesting because when it comes to veterinary stuff, like they go, oh, well, that's necessary, and so therefore it's justified.
Yeah.
But when it comes to training, oh, you can't put the dog in stressful situations because that's, you know, cruel and unusual punishment. Well, no, I mean, it's necessary for the dog's health and well-being to be able to exist conflict-free or as close to conflict-free as possible. And, you know, our job is to help them get there.
Yeah. Or even, like, what about things that are necessary so the owner can keep the dog?
Yeah.
And that, to me, like that's especially prevalent in the service dog community. Try not to, like, get too close into them, but I love my service dog people that are normal. I love you. But, you know, there's a select group of people that are very anti-prong collar, anti-e-collar. And it's like, you know, some handlers of service dogs, like, they can't have a service dog without those pieces of equipment. Mm-hmm. Like, you're denying them access to a dog.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we can talk a little bit about, you know, the service dog community in this realm of conversation on social media.
Yeah.
Because it's huge.
Oh, yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people who, you know, are posting them working with their service dogs, you know, them handling their service dogs out in public. And if you think about the videos that you see of people with their service dogs, what's getting the most views?
Anything controversial or anything that's slamming? Well, I guess it's still controversial.
Yeah, anything controversial. either, oh, these people told me I can't have a service dog in this, store, or they're trying to kick me out with my service dog, or, oh, look at someone's fake service dog is freaking out at my real service dog. And it's all this, like, it's controversy that gets you the likes and the views.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not what, like, good dog training and good dog ownership is, and that's not what we want out of the service dog, field.
Yeah.
When we're talking about service dogs and working with service dogs, like, people who really, like, need service dogs and have service dogs, like, I think of it as a piece of medical equipment.
Yeah.
Right? I always compare it to my hearing aids, but the worst part is I lost one of my hearing aids, and now I don't wear my hearing aids because I can't get an appointment with the VA to get new hearing aids. But
VA, if you're listening to this, get Ashley an appointment.
VA, I need hearing aids. I am deaf. But, like, I'm not using my hearing aids as, like, a piece of fashion. I'm not using it as an attention getter.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these people have service dogs because they have social anxiety. I'm using it as a guard, someone to block me so that people don't walk up behind me. And my dog creates space. My dog walks or pulls me away from crowded areas. But their dog is dyed bright pink and wearing all sorts of cool fancy equipment and goggles and booties and all sorts of stuff that says, look at me, without literally saying, look at me.
Oh yeah, I had like such Gracie's not my service dog. I was just going into Lowe's, which is dog friendly. And I would get so much anxiety for the longest time taking her to pet friendly stores, which Gracie's totally fine with. But I'm like, what if someone talks to me? What if Gracie barks or sees something stupid? What if another dog comes around?
And like, you said to me the other day too, because I was going to Lowe's. I go to Lowe's like every day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I bet you take Tinky with you every time you go to Lowe's. I'm like, I almost never do.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I'm like, I really could take him with me. Like, he's fine. And so I did take him with me to go pick out some paint samples, right? Because I'm having my house painted tomorrow now. But the whole time I was trying to pick out those paint samples, I had him in a down so that he wasn't bothering anybody. But literally anyone who came up close to me or started walking down the aisles, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to step on his tail. Their cart's going to roll over his tail. Oh my God, he's going to be in the way. Oh my God, he might sniff them. And it's a pet-friendly store. Like, there's no expectation that he's going to be like a service dog quality behavior. Granted, he was perfectly well behaved. He didn't bother anybody. He stayed out of the way. I was able to move him if his tail was in the way or he was going to get run over.
Yeah.
But, like, there was still that anxiety that my dog is going to make a mistake.
Yeah. And I'm like, especially because I understand that a lot of people do have to train their own service dogs because it's expensive, and that sucks. But
However, there are so many organizations that will provide you a service dog if you are in need of one for free.
Yeah. If you do have that, the ability, that is the better route to go, is to get the free one.
People just don't want to wait.
Yeah.
And they don't want a lab.
Yeah.
They want a husky or a German Shepherd or a Malinois.
Yeah. But, not trying to make comments on that.
Sorry.
Because I don't
We're going to do a whole podcast on that.
I also don't want the podcast to get canceled.
We're going to get canceled.
Hashtag canceled. I canceled it first, so no one else can. But especially when you're, like, training your own dog, like, if it's, let's say, an anxiety dog, like, how are you going to be able to manage the dog? Let's say the dog alerted, good job, dog, but you're having an anxiety attack. Like, that's not really something you can kind of train through for most people, I don't think. Like, if it's a severe anxiety attack.
Well, we can definitely talk more about, like, service dog training. But, like, you train the dog to perform specific behaviors in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Whether the dog is supposed to stay with you or if the dog is supposed to leave you and go get help or whatever. Like, you train your dog for that situation, right? Granted, how you create that is a little controversial because, someone might say, oh, when I get nervous, I start tapping my foot or I start hyperventilating or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't really recreate the biological changes in your body that happen during a real anxiety attack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that, but, like, let's say you're out training, you can't take the time to assess the medical needs you're having because you're training that dog. And especially at the beginning of a dog's career, if you're missing those reward opportunities, the opportunities, like, to correct the dog and say that's not what's going to happen right now, like, the human has to come first, especially when it's like a medical issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't even remember why we're talking about this. We've got
social media, like what we're seeing on social media too.
Yeah. You're talking about the anxiety alert dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's more tension, and you're training. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And
we need to circle back.
Yeah. Well,
hard.
The whole reason why we got onto that is that they even service dog handlers will post their videos on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever for the likes and the views, right? And what's getting them those likes and the views is the controversial stuff.
Oh yeah, we're talking about like having,
or that oh my god moment, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I was just videotaping myself casually, just picking out a book at this bookstore for absolutely no reason. I was videotaping, and all of a sudden, oh look, my dog alerted, and I didn't expect to have this anxiety attack.
Or like, oh my gosh, how dare this child, which do restrain your child. Children need leashes. This child came up and touched my pink dog. Like, it's a pink dog. Yes, the kid should know better. I'm not saying that was like right on any, at all. Mom should be watching, or whoever's dad, whatever. But at the same point, you're dyeing your dog pink, and that's a very appealing color.
Yeah.
Dogs don't come in these fun colors.
Right.
Otherwise, I'd have a blue dog.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so cool.
And I know that their justification is, well, I need people to be aware of my dog so they don't accidentally step on him or walk on him or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't want people to be aware of my dog.
Yeah.
I want people to go, oh shit, there's been a dog here this whole time? I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, like a vest that says service dog. That's like...
You don't even need that.
Nice.
I fucking put a slip leash on and say we're done.
Yeah. But it gets weird. You know what I mean? Like, I can see how that gets weird, because I see people...
People make it weird.
Yeah.
Right? I think people definitely make it weird, because all you have to say, if I'm in a store with a service dog and someone says, hey, you can't have your pet in here, and I say he's a service dog, right? Yeah. That's it. That's the end of the conversation, unless they want to ask me the two questions, or I guess at that point, one question they can ask, because one of the questions is that dog a service dog?
Yeah.
And then the other question is, what tasks does that dog perform?
Yeah, well, I feel like for some people, I feel like it could get annoying if you do have an unvested dog. The constant...
I don't feel like people are constantly going to be bothering you.
Yeah.
Because I see the stupid dogs in Walmart all the time, and you and I both know that 99% of the time it's just someone bringing their pet into Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not going to go and...
PetSmart.
I'm not going to go up and bother them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go make a fuss over it, because, one, I just don't care.
I've really never had all those like crazy run-ins that you see like online, or people talk about like, this person was so mad she couldn't pet my dog, whatever. I've never really had that.
No.
I don't know if it's because Gracie is ugly and people hate her, or like what's going on, but like most people, I just kind of like keep walking and they are fine.
Because we handle it in a mature way, right?
Yeah.
We're not out there trying to create videos to get the likes and the views. People realize that that's the stuff that gets the views.
Yeah.
So they, believe it or not, they go out looking for it. They go out and they create those situations for the likes, for the views, for the followers, right? And, I had a friend of mine who always ended up finding himself in ridiculous situations where, like, oh, I was in a parking lot and this guy came up and started a fight with me. Oh, I was at the bar and this guy, wanted to pick a fight with me. Oh, I was in this situation and this guy wanted to pick a fight with me. I'm like, there's a common denominator here.
Yeah.
Right? So we see that with, like, the service dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the third time this month I've gotten kicked out of a store with my service dog. And, like...
You're acting appropriately.
Maybe there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a common denominator. Maybe you're... And of course you have your phone out recording, right?
Yeah.
It's so stressful that I have to pull my phone out and record it or go live on social media so everyone can see me and my dog getting kicked out. And you're getting, like, views and, oh, we have, 1,500 viewers out here watching me get kicked out of, whatever store with my service dog. Like, people are doing it. Yeah. Because they want the views. And the same thing applies to, like, those social media dog trainers.
Well, even just social media in general, because I remember not too long ago I was scrolling through TikTok and I compulsively watch every video all the way through because I just can't, I don't know what's wrong with me. But, like, it's a girl, like, sobbing in her car about something. I'm like, if it's that upset, would you sit down and be like, let me make a TikTok, like, let me make sure my hair is good, like, make sure the tears are flowing correctly, like... if you're that upset, you wouldn't be posting it online.
Right?
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's weird. But then again, I mean, granted, there are content creators who, like, that is something that they enjoy, is in sharing their life experiences. So I don't know.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, yeah, I kind of get it. But it's when we're starting to see a pattern.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what we're talking about with our social media dog trainers, right? Our content creator dog trainers, is that they're creating or they're seeking out the opportunities to create sensational content with dogs, which is detrimental to the dog's benefit, right?
Yeah.
They're looking for those dogs who are going to try and maul them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If I have a person who comes in with a dog who they tell me is human aggressive, I'm not going to try and see, oh, how far do I have to push him before he tries to bite me?
Nope.
If that dog never, ever tries to bite me in the entire time I'm interacting with him throughout an entire training program, that is a success. That's exactly what I want to have happen.
Yeah.
And if I showed a video, I'm like, hey, here's a video of this crazy human aggressive dog, and the dog is just calmly sitting there with me, you're going to go, that's boring as hell.
Yeah.
I am not going to get views. I am not going to get likes. I'm not going to get any type of like interaction on social media because it's boring. But that's what good dog training is going to look like.
Well, we have a dog reactive dog in right now that's actually had like a successful history of biting. And she's on week 2. She's about to finish up week 2. And the most I've ever had her react is maybe some hackles and maybe a little bit of whining. Mm-hmm. Nothing big.
Yeah.
And like that's not gonna look good on social media.
Yeah. Right? Oh man. And that's the reality of dog training. And what you see on social media is not reality.
Well,
right? And so when we see these dog trainers who like every third video is a dog trying to maul them, or like in the example of the dog daddy, every video is a dog trying to maul him and he's just like, you know, manhandling this dog and like slamming him on the ground, helicoptering the dog. Like, he's doing it for the likes and the views, and the fact that we're talking about him here today is only like exacerbating it.
Yeah, but
right?
It's like at the sacrifice of these dogs.
Oh yeah,
it is terrible.
Like, we feel like all of like the reputable trainers out there, like, we are in pain watching him ruin these dogs who have the potential to, you know, improve.
Yeah.
But like, he's taken like in such a small amount of time exacerbating the problem.
Yeah.
So much more.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a dog who is trying to attack you, trying to maul you, and you take these extreme steps to like try and fix it, like you're gonna create a lot more problems for yourself.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm thinking about the video that we just saw of him where he did a forearm bite with American Standards Cane Corso.
Oh, yeah.
And he's standing in front of a large bush, so he's planning to fall.
Yeah.
And he falls backward when the dog hits his forearm, which that's like a fairly easy catch.
It's a really easy catch.
Which, like...
And that dog does not hit hard.
Yeah. Granted, I'm hoping at some point to get a video of me doing something stupid so I can post it online.
Yeah, but it won't be on purpose.
No, that's why I have you guys record every single time I decoy, because I don't know which dog's going to ruin me.
Yeah. It's going to be probably when you start doing, like, tricep flea bites, probably.
Yeah.
With long sense.
If I get brave with Kevlar. Shout out Kevlar.
Kevin.
My love.
Oh, I love him so much. You can do tricep flea bites with Tinky.
Oh my god. Tinky's not. I don't think Tinky's gonna make me fall. With peace and love. I love him. I love Tinky. He's not gonna.
He can hear you.
Oh no, he's going crazy. He's jumping up and down. He's asleep on his bed.
He's asleep
on his very expensive bed.
I love how you keep telling everyone how expensive that is.
Because they act like we're neglecting him, and I'm like, that shit's expensive.
I know.
Like, how is it? I mean, I guess Dog Daddy wears Gucci and still doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He couldn't buy any training classes, so...
Yeah, money is not going to buy good dog training.
We can afford the expensive bed, and now he cannot afford to eat.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Tinky eats well.
God, I was thinking about it, I'm like, I probably spend more in a month on my dogs than most people spend on their dogs in a lifetime.
I mean, when I got my new car, it wasn't, oh cool, I have a car that has air conditioning and is reliable. It was... I can put so many kennels in here, and Gracie's gonna have so much fun. Like, I was like, I'm gonna take Gracie so many new places.
Yep.
And Scooter, which we never talk about Scooter.
We talk about Scooter all the time.
Scooter's my old fat dog. I love
Yeah,
him.
the one who jumps out of windows.
Not anymore. He's now contently witnessing air conditioning, so he does not escape for outside.
He's wonderful. Oh, man. There was another topic we were supposed to talk about, and I can't remember what it was.
Keyboard trainers.
We talked about that.
We did?
No? Oh, yeah, that is the next thing we're supposed to talk about, keyboard trainers.
We kind of talked about it, but we can talk about it.
Oh, we were going to talk about how, like, they're blowing up our, like... Not blowing up. There were comments, you know, saying how our training in our garage is abuse.
Okay, at the end, can I read off some choice comments, please?
We can totally do that.
Oh my
we
God.
can do dealer's choice comments.
Oh, God, yes. Okay, anyway.
But the funny thing is, like, you know, people are coming after us, you know, for the fact that we're training in our garage, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, for the longest time, even before we moved here, we were training in our garage, but we had the garage remodeled, so it didn't look like a garage.
We just moved.
The garage has, like, this old 70s, like, wood plank walls. Granted, I bought, like, kennel runs so the dogs could live in those. They also have a whole bunch of, like, Dakota kennels in there, so if they want crate training, we can do that, too, with nice $600 kennels.
And they're crash-proof in case an asteroid hits.
Yeah, we're good. But, like, the safety measures that are in that garage, like, people don't even take into that account. Mm-hmm. So, like, we talked about in our last episode in the Dog Trainer Horror Stories about people killing dogs dying of heat exhaustion, people losing dogs, you know, dogs getting hurt, injured, whatever. And we take all of those horror stories we hear and we use them to create safety precautions for which we've never had to deal with the problem before. Yeah. Just in the event that we might have to experience it in the future. So, for instance, our garage is air conditioned. Most people's garages are not air conditioned. We have it air conditioned. On top of that, we also have multiple fans directed on the dogs themselves. Not on us while we're training, on the dogs. Now, we really don't train inside the garage anyway. We usually take them outside in the grass or on the pavement if it's cool in the morning. But we also have a temperature monitor in there, so God forbid the power goes out or the AC goes out or whatever, or maybe the AC is just not working to its full potential and it gets hot in there. If it gets over 90, I'm getting an alert on my phone. We also use what I call the 2-door system, that there should always be at least 2 doors between your dog and the free Wild West, meaning the busy road that is next to our property. So, you know, if I'm going to be taking a dog in or out of the kennel, I have that garage door closed.
Yeah.
And then I open it once the dog is securely on the leash if I'm going to go out into the unfenced area, or I'm taking the dog into the fenced area.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have all these safety precautions so that way we're not accidentally losing a dog. The dog doesn't take off, slip out of the kennel, you know, whatever.
We did just get I was going to pull up the comment. We did get a new hate comment from the same person.
Oh, good.
They were like, they're trainers. If they can't train and enrich their own animals to be well-mannered, why are they charging other people? Hello. Well, what I'd like to respond with is if you can't, you know, scroll 15 seconds through my page, but you can write me a novel about what a terrible person I am for a dog that I don't own. Like, how are you, like, what? Anyway.
I love it.
I did want to, like, reference word for word their comment because I do owe them, you know, the correctness of their words. And I should tag them in a podcast. I should tag them in a podcast. Okay. I'm not going to tag them in the podcast because if they can't look at my stupid TikTok page, they're not going to listen to the hour-long podcast.
So let's start talking about our keyboard trainers. So this is going to be, you know, we're not going to harp on this too long because we've been talking for a while now. But when we talk about keyboard trainers, what are we talking about?
We are talking about people that have no training videos on their page. Like, they're clearly not clearly not a trainer, but they're not proving themselves to be a trainer. Is that the right way to say that?
Yeah,
I guess.
I would say so.
They're not providing evidence.
Yeah.
And they're just scrolling, you know, and then they're like, oh, that looks wrong. And they're like, that is wrong.
Here's my unsolicited opinion on your training.
With no taking time to look through the page and seeing Medic biting me. No, like...
In a good way.
In a good way, which I'm sure they'll have a comment for that if they do look through my page. Is how I know they haven't looked through my page.
It's like when people are commenting on, like, dock diving videos. Have you seen the comments on dock diving videos recently?
I have not.
So there's been, I guess, like a theme where people are commenting on dock diving videos, which if you don't know what dock diving is, it's where the dog jumps off of the dock into the water to retrieve their toy or whatever. And apparently, like, the new catchphrase is that, like, it's a sport, it's a dog sport, but a sport is supposed to have a willing participant, saying that we're forcing the dog to do dock diving.
I don't have. Anyway, their comment was about the garage was, apparently they know how much we charge for board and trains, considering I don't think I've Airborne Canine linked on my account here, but anyway, this woman works board and train, which weird spelling, out of a garage, and this dog is let out maybe 6 times a day. But go ahead and justify that, because I made a video saying like he's trained like probably about 6 different times a day, which is a lot of sessions for what he does. Which probably more.
But that's just training session. That doesn't include potty breaks.
Yeah, but you said what's wrong with the garage is that it's low quality, and with the amount people charge for board and train, it should never be trashy and makeshift. We just moved in. Also, how's it trashy and makeshift?
It's not trashy and makeshift.
And then she was like attacking another person's training area. I'm glad she made it to their page and still can't look at mine.
Yeah, because we looked at that person's training area and it was really nice. It had like an outdoor like little building. Like it almost looked like what you would see like for a greenhouse. Yeah. But like it was a little, I would say temporary building, but the inside was all turf.
Yeah.
And it's not like there was a bunch of stuff in there. It wasn't like littered with, maybe trash or random equipment or broken down equipment, which is something you see in a lot of trainers' videos is like nasty broken down equipment or,
dead kennels and rust and deep freezers.
Sorry. I keep referencing the deep freezer.
That part's still wigging me out.
The worst part is I have a deep freezer and I don't want stop referencing deep freezers.
I've never seen the inside of it, guys.
There's nothing in it right now. We used to use it when we had frozen dog food in there. Not frozen dogs, frozen dog food. God. If you don't know what we're talking about, just go back to the last episode. The dog training horse.
Watch our last episode.
Yeah.
It's because the podcast is getting unhinged from there, I think.
Yeah. But like their training facility looked really nice. See, like this person though is probably just doing it for the attention.
Oh yeah, well I mean that's the person that said I'm a lazy F word. And I like to lock it in a kennel all day. Like it's just not.
They're trying to provoke an emotional response.
Yes.
And this is what we're talking about with like, it goes back to the idea of like what makes you successful on social media is provoking that emotional response, so that way then you're needing to respond to it or someone else's. Regardless, their comment is getting that attention, getting the likes, getting the views, getting the whatever, which is then directing more people to their page, so that way, hey, I'm gonna go see if they have any training videos, which they do not, but now their videos are getting more views.
Well, they don't actually have a single video up, but I forgot that it was the same person that the original comment was that they wanted me to medicate the dog. They're like, dogs deserve to feel at peace.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no more happiness. Sorry.
So I'm going to give you guys a little like insight into what you'll see on social media from reputable trainers, specifically in what we call the comment section.
Yeah.
Your reputable trainers are not going to waste their time arguing over training tactics or techniques in the comment section. I am in a whole lot of like community dog Facebook groups, breed specific dog Facebook groups. I'm in Dutch Shepherd Facebook groups, German Shepherd Facebook groups. And at least once a day, if not more than that, I see someone saying, oh, I just got this new puppy a while ago and it won't stop biting me. How can I fix that? And of course, my first emotional response is, you dumbass, you got a German Shepherd, it's going to bite you, right?
Yeah.
There's 1,000 things you can do, but I would say be sitting here typing for days trying to teach you through the comment section how to fix a German Shepherd puppy who's biting you. And I'm not going to do it because our time is too valuable as trainers to sit here and fight with you in the comment section.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a lot of valuable information from reputable sources of knowledge in the comment section. Yeah. What you are going to see is a lot of people who have nothing better to do with really strong opinions because, they've been indoctrinated into whatever fashionable dog training technique is, force-free, Lima, whatever, not saying that these are wrong, but if it's something that they have kind of clung on to, then, but they might not be fully educated on it. I see a lot of people who claim to be force-free trainers who still have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
We understand all the different training techniques, methodologies, and we can use them interchangeably. I can train one dog force-free and train another dog differently, because if that dog benefits best from that type of training, then we can use that methodology. But you have to understand how it works.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these people just don't. But if I use force-free training methods, I'm the least likely to have the internet come after me, because I'm not doing anything harmful for the dog in most cases.
Yeah.
I might be allowing the dog to create inappropriate behaviors that are going to ultimately stress the dog out more if I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm not deliberately causing stress. So when we're talking about those keyboard trainers, we're talking about the people who are fighting back and forth in the comment section.
Yeah.
Thinking that their opinion is right. Or maybe they're just trying to get attention.
Yeah. Well, I think, the more I'm thinking about it, the response with this video, there's, a lot of external factors that had to, kind of click into place for this whole thing to happen. Mm-hmm. One, I have a really light training load this week because we had a dog that we had to send home. So I have time to poke at them and make them extra angry, because I'm having a lot of fun.
And sorry, we had to send the dog home because they came in with a flea issue.
Yeah.
So if the dog comes in with anything that can be communicable to other dogs, they have to go home.
Yeah, we spent the whole day doing just in case flea baths, bleach cleaning, obviously without dogs in there. Sanitizing, doing all the stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's so I had the ability to have fun and poke at them because I'm having a blast.
I can tell.
But, and then somehow the TikTok algorithm actually let that video loose to the masses.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it'll keep it in your bubble.
Yep.
And then additionally, all these other people are seeing the comment and going, oh my god.
Well, the algorithm is going to take hey, if this one is getting enough interactions, we're gonna spread it more.
Yeah. And that's I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, can you guys just please look at literally any other video and like it? I just posted a great video of Cortana training, and I'm like, she's doing great. Can we give her some positive something? No one cares.
No one cares.
Because it's just pushing the one video.
I care.
Well, I'm glad you care.
I love Cortana. She's so sweet.
She's doing so good.
So if you're out on social media and you're looking for some tips and advice, unfortunately, those Facebook groups, more often than not, you're not going to get direct information. You're not going to get a direct answer that's really going to be helpful. You're going to get a lot of conflicting answers. You're going to get one person who says to do this, and another person who says, don't ever do that, you should do this instead. And you're not really going to know what the right answer is.
Well, and a lot of the problems people, at least that I see people posting online, isn't really something that you can answer in a comment. Because there's a lot of different answers. Because
how do you get a dog to stop, how do you get a puppy to stop biting you?
It's like training Daria and training Gracie. That is two very different sides of a coin.
Yeah.
Gracie's super soft, and if you're if I talk too loud or aggressively at her, she's gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't really want to do this anymore. Goodbye. And Daria, if you do that, she's like, oh hell yeah, let me jump on the counter for you.
Oh my god, she jumped all four paws up on the counter so effortlessly. It was beautiful. We were so impressed with her. While she's standing on the counter, causing chaos, we're like, that's amazing.
There was no takeoff or anything. There was no running up to it. She walked.
You ever see people straight leg do box jumps?
Yeah.
And you're like, how did they just levitate?
Crazy. She levitated.
Yeah. Considering how dense she is and how heavy she is, she's very fit, but she's all just solid muscle.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But if you posted, a question, hey, I'm having issues training my Dutch Shepherd to be quiet in the kennel, right? So, Daria's crazy in the kennel. Me, the owner of Gracie, who just food in the kennel made Gracie super quiet and didn't care, I'll tell you that, and you know what you're going to get? Even worse kennel manners, because she's like, oh my gosh, this is the best place ever, and now I'm really, really intense.
And Daria is not crazy in the kennel. She's actually right near us. We can see her from where we're at. She's maybe 15 feet away.
That was just an example.
Her, along with my 6 other dogs, are all in arm's reach of us, and they're all just sleeping.
Which apparently you cannot love all of them. It's physically impossible.
I can't love 7 dogs. So hey guys, one of you's gotta go.
I know you can't comment on Spotify, but if you're on YouTube, please comment the max amount of dogs you can love.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I love every single dog that comes through here for board and train, and I love all the dogs that I meet. So
I know.
I was in there cuddling with all the dogs this morning.
Well, it's funny when you start to get in like the working dog world, you know, you start to hear this phrase that like, I don't need to be friends with any more dogs or something like that. Like, I don't want to pet your dog. Like, people don't want to pet your dog. And I think that a lot of us secretly, you know, we have to kind of be like, oh yeah, I don't really want to pet your dog. But on the outside or on the inside, we're like, I do want to pet your dog.
Yeah. Well, I feel like what I've got more of like in public, I guess, it's like, yeah, I would love to pet your dog, but I understand that, like, I wouldn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, granted, I want everyone to pet my dogs. Fuck, I want everyone to pet my dogs.
I just don't want people to talk to me.
But I don't want to reward people for being inappropriate.
Well, and I also don't want to, not that Gracie really goes out that many, like, random places, but definitely if I'm using her as a demo dog and stuff, I don't want her to get a whole lot of reward from random people.
Yeah. I mean, you can make that the reward for the behaviors. You can make that rewarding for...
Gracie went through a very long period of barking.
That's true.
For no reason. Yeah. Like, there was absolutely no
I think it was frustration.
Yeah, and I think that may have been getting too many pets and
probably.
Things. Because there was a lot of stuff that happened where I used to work with her that I was like, please, let's not do this.
I love sending Tinky to go get pets from random people.
Yeah.
He loves it. It's the greatest. Tinky time! Oh, sorry. I gotta yawn. All right. But yeah. Okay. So we talked about the keyboard trainers, social media trainers. I guess, like, the big thing to take away from this whole conversation is just be aware of, like, what you see on the internet. A lot of it is so cherry-picked. And, like, we could be going through, like, another person's, like, training videos and cherry-picking, like, questionable moments and saying, oh, look at this dog trainer, they're so bad, and look at all those horrible things they're doing by cherry-picking things out of context, which is exactly what happened with that video we posted of Medic.
Yeah.
You know, someone is taking it out of context and saying, oh, this is terrible, when my dog is just super excitedly bouncing in its kennel, excited to go train, excited to go play, excited to go participate. And they're taking it out of context. And so, like, you have to understand that we're living in a world now where all the information we're getting about people is in these little 5-second, 10-second, 15-second clips that are just so out of context for what their full 24-hour day looks like.
Yeah.
So be very careful about what you see on the internet with, like, dog trainers, and really, you know, say, is this good dog training, or is it just something that is, you know, exciting to watch?
And if you're really wanting to, like, follow a dog trainer on the internet, you know, because maybe you live way out in the country or something, you can't, like, get with dog trainers. Look at, like, find someone that has, like, a dog in sports or something that's, like, proving themselves, and see if they offer, like, a Patreon or something. You're supporting someone, you know, you're supporting their business, you're getting informational things. I think most people with Patreons do, like, video lessons and stuff like that for their subscribers. And, you know, you're getting, like, the full picture to a point. I mean, you can still kind of fake Patreon, I think, but most videos are, like, longer.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, here's my 30-second TikTok on how to teach your dog to heel.
Yeah, exactly. We should start a Patreon.
We should.
We will. Not yet.
Too much stuff to do.
We have a lot on our plate right now.
We have a lot of can curtain orders.
Yeah, so we started this can curtain thing thinking I was going to get maybe 1 or 2 people interested. And, like, the first hour that the post was up, I had over 20 messages, people interested in can curtains. And so I had to create a form for people to actually order them. And in the first day, I had 6 orders. And these are not easy to make. Like, they take a long time, especially because we're custom painting them. And we're trying to come up with, like, unique designs that we're not just, you know, mass producing, you know, copy and paste, you know, can curtains. We want everyone to have, you know, special can curtains that when people see them, because when you're watching videos, those can curtains look really cool.
Yeah.
You can see them and know that that is, hey, those are that decoy's can curtains.
Yeah.
You know, they're that decoy's theme, that color, that design, whatever. And so when you see them, you go, I know exactly who that is. So we want people to have that unique experience with their can curtains. Go ahead.
Oh, and we're trying to, like, outsource the cans themselves.
Yeah, so if anybody likes to drink Miller Lite or any of the cans or beers that come in the bullet cans, there is a brand of water that comes in bullet cans too. we will buy the cans from you.
Yeah.
$10 for 15 cans.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of been trying to do through like Facebook and stuff, and that takes time too for people to drink their beer.
Yeah, take your time. Drink your beer slowly. Unless it's water, drink it fast.
Pop one open right now. Start drinking.
No, it's 10 a.m.
It's not 10 a.m. It's 2.
Whatever.
You got up at 10.
Well, it's basically my 10 a.m. So, God. Okay. Well, don't forget to follow us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Follow all of our social media. Follow us on YouTube. We have tons of great content. If you have questions, message us, comment on our videos, reach out to us, email us, text us. All of our phone numbers and contact information is available on our website, www.airbornek9.com. If you are interested in purchasing any products from us, i.e. canned curtains or e-collar technology products or Dakota 283 kennels, feel free to let us know. We're happy to oblige, help support our small business. This is it. Me and Kelly, this is our whole operation here. This, what you see is what you get. We don't have a huge, fleet of trainers that we're outsourcing to. If your dog comes to train, they're living with us. They're training with us.
Forced to love us.
They're forced to love us. It doesn't take a whole lot of forcing, thankfully. But yeah, so help support our small business, help us grow, and help more people. So, Kelly, you got anything?
If you are wanting to follow my TikTok, it is kj.canines, because I know people are going to want to see the video. And there's plenty of unhinged response videos on my part, which I was very tired in recording, so the quality of those probably not great.
That's okay.
And you did probably delete some of them.
Yeah, probably. All right. So let us know what you think. Until next time, enjoy your day with your dog.